The Penguins and Blackhawks headed to the postseason as the top-seeded teams, but as we know, anything can happen in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm Evan Doherty, here with his Stanley Cup predictions. Yahoo Sports NHL writer Nick Kotzanika. Nick, let's start in the West and get your winner there. Chicago, so hot to start the year. They win the President's Trophy. Do you think they emerge to the Stanley Cup final?
Well, I think they do, and I know I'm not being real gutsy here. I know I should pick the Sharks or somebody that you might not expect, and that could certainly happen. But things are so tight, and the Blackhawks had such a good year that I'm going with the favorite. It's not without concern. This is a speedy, skilled team. We have yet to see if they have the grit to go 4 rounds. What are they going to do in opponent's game plan to take away that speed? Will the goaltending be as good in the playoffs as it was in the regular season? But, man, they're a deep team. They have a lot of high-end talent. They have good health right now. I really like the Blackhawks in the West.
So that's one number 1 seed. What about out east? Do you like Pittsburgh to make it to the final as well?
It's sort of the same story in the East, but I think the East is even more top-heavy. I think the Penguins are the class of the East by far. Obviously, you wonder about Sidney Crosby's health, when he comes back, how well he comes back. You worry about goaltending with Marc-Andre Fleury, and you worry about pressure. I mean, this is a team that hasn't made it out of the first round in 3 straight years. Now they're expected to go all the way in a very tight league. That can be a little bit difficult. You got a team like the Islanders coming in the first round with no pressure. So it's easier said than done. But I think the Pittsburgh in the East is the class of that conference and should come out.
You're worrying me here, Nick. You have all these doubts and worries, but you're still going to say the number 1 seeds will advance. So who do you like if it is Chicago and Pittsburgh in the Stanley Cup final?
Well, I think that would be a dream Stanley Cup final, just with all the stars, all the skill, all the speed. It would be so fun to watch, but you'd have to give the edge to the Penguins. Just when you have the best player in the world, and then you have last year's MVP, and they're not the same guy, that's a pretty good start. Just adding again, adding Morrow, adding Murray, adding Jokinen, they are stacked, and I think that they should come out and win the Stanley Cup. And that may be the big surprise from this year, is that the favorites do actually live up to the billing, and the favorite wins the Cup.
That would be some firepower in that Stanley Cup final, should it be Blackhawks and Penguins. We'll see. By the way, last President's Trophy winner to go on to win the Cup, Detroit in 2008. Thank you, Nick. This is the NHL This Week on Yahoo Sports.